All right, I'd like to welcome everyone this morning and call to order the regular September 8th meeting of the Treutlen County Board of Commissioners. Appreciate everyone taking time out of their lives and schedules to come and conduct the county's business. At this time, I'd like to ask for everyone to stand as Commissioner Mullis leads us with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If everyone please bow their head with me as we go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Lord, we just come to you today as your servants. We come to you as servants for our community. Just please be with us, be with our heart, to make our decisions, be wise, and to be best stewards we can for our county, and help each and every one with their daily lives and problems, and just be with us and lead us through these times. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
All right, I need to ask the board for an agenda amendment to take up business for our broken trash boom truck. If so be the board would hear it at this time, I'd ask for a amendment to the agenda for the business of trash pickup. I need to amend the agenda to talk about the trash pickup.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
Do I have a second? Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Amend it so joint change. I'm gonna put it behind the carriage grant. Give Mr. Terry time to get here. All right, first order of business for the board will be the approval for the minutes for the August 3rd, 2020 regular meeting. We have had these set before us by the clerk. If anyone would like to make the motion to amend these, I open the floor at this time. To accept these, I mean to say.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Do I have a second? Any further question? All in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, we've come to our public comment portion of our meeting. We have been requested by Mr. Eugene Jolson to discuss Lonesome Pine Road. I don't think Mr. Dawson's here.
No, he said,
okay.
He talked to me about it, and he said he may not be able to get here because of health issue. But he's interested, but he wants to know that the road could possibly be paved. It's really bad out there sometimes when it rains. And it kind of washes out the areas.
Which one's Lonesome Pine, Mr. Terry?
Lonesome Pond is down below my house. Past McDonald's house, the road to the first road.
Turn where Miss Connie's folks live on the dirt road that cuts back out. Oh, it's to the left then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not in the way.
How long is it?
I think about 5 residents before we live on that road or something.
I don't even know if it's that, I know it's what they do, kind of bad. Three, I think. Plus somebody lives back in the summer, and the elders live right there.
What we would have to do is, the board so chooses to go forward, we could have Woods to come up with a proposal of cost, what the board would be looking at to pave the road, what if it was, do some research and different things like that on it. Is that how that goes, Mr. Tom?
Well, yeah, generally, most rural counties like this, the only time you're going to pave a road is through an LMIG project.
Right.
You just don't budget for road paving. But that, you guys may want to look at that as a potential
And it's time to start getting those up. Be thinking about those. So we'll have a workshop. I'll get with Woods and see when they got to have a deadline in on it. You know that deadline in for the next round of LMIG? I'll find out when the deadline is and we'll try to have a workshop for just plan our next LMIG expenditure. Unless anyone else has anything about that, I'm gonna go down to, last week we heard from Mr. Haddon, as being the agent for the county. We've had time to reflect, and I would like to open the floor at this time for a motion if someone, if the board so chooses to continue to do business with Mr. Haddon as aspect of being the complete agent for the county for, I'm going to use this term because I don't know another one, fishing our insurance for better rates.
That's fair.
Does that sound like a pretty good synopsis?
And did you say that the motion needed to include something specific for our minutes? Did you tell me that?
Yes. Thank y'all for allowing me this. I'm sorry I was about to run late and we're blaming on Ryan. Yeah, there's true things always. Both of us to be your agent of record. It would be shot for you, what you just said. And that's all line. And then y'all got like 2 or 3 companies now, and correct if I say that wrong. You got, about 2 or 3 companies now, your reports are being interrupted 2 or 3 times a year, and there's confusion there for what I've got and what I haven't got. So I've been doing it 43 years. We do one-stop shopping. So we represent you and your employees. Not an insurance company. We represent an insurance company. We bring those companies to you with the best rates, best benefits, that kind of stuff. So then your employees will have a one-time a year to enroll, and everything. And you tie it all to the state. You tie it all to y'all's health insurance, which is July. So you tie everything to the deal with July. So then when your employees do the medical enrollment, they do the dental enrollment, their vision enrollment, less confusion on Andy's part, less confusion on your employee's part. Less confusion, period. That's it. That's that. And then I'm very nervous about y'all's cafeteria plan. That's the plan document that allows your employees for pre-tax benefits, medical, dental, vision, those type of things. But you're supposed to have a document, you're supposed to have everything lined up in place, and y'all's is scary. I'm not saying that it's scary.
Yes.
Which one's the lawyer? Thank you, sir. I apologize. Andy told me, but I can't remember which one where he ever said that. But I'm sure he can tell you a plan document that the cafeteria plan that rules you by. That's rules you by. That's what's offered. It's what your employees get to save taxes on. What you save taxes on as an employer. But you're supposed to have a plan document, some plan description that gives those guidelines. Y'all is scared because one page about the plan. And it should be about 25-page document. So so all that motion can include to do that document at the same time. So what we would do is y'all's medical just passed in 7-1. Your dental vision and life is found up 10-1. So what we're trying to get to is 7-1. So we would do a short plan here from now until from October to July, and then July everything would be July to July. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say? Yeah, we would have it on a July basis, but that's when y'all's medical comes to you. It renews with the ACCG on 7. We hire everything around that. That's all I'm about to say. So y'all, we need y'all's minutes to show that you vote us as your agent, and if you vote to do a cafeteria plan, you vote we would be the exclusive agent of all benefits to the county. That's it. Question?
And I'd like to tie into this motion, do this for a period of 1 year.
Sir?
This would be for a period of 1 year to be renegotiated this time, September next
everything
year.
goes by, we try to get everything to July 1 and everything going anniversary of July 1. That's right.
All right. Morning.
So, Agent, at this time, we have 3 different ones. We have Liberty National, and we have American General. American General, we only have 2 employees on the end, and then Liberty National, we have several. And then now we have
garden is what we have next on.
So has there been a problem with something?
No, there's not really a problem. I think what he's saying is that we just have them come off throughout the year, and then we have to call all the employees in to listen to it, and then they have to sign, whether they want it or not, they have to come in and sign for it. And it takes a couple of days, and the employees have to come in several times a year because they're done at different times. Each company comes in at different times.
So right now they got 3 different enrollments,
Yes,
and this will be one enrollment.
and right, so when it's time for us to renew or whatever, he'll come and we'll do it one time instead of several times throughout the year.
Well, what do you think about it?
Well, most counties will have one person who consolidates everything and organizes it on a normal schedule. What we've had the last couple of years is we've kind of had a little hodgepodge. And I think in the long run, it will benefit the county employees to have some sort of coordinated effort where we have one agent who can give the employees kind of a full view of what's available.
That's right. That's right.
And at no cost to the county.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Oh, there's no downside.
Actually, I would say, because the more your employees are free taxable, meaning better than vision, it saves y'all the employer portion of 5. So it saves y'all's portion of 765, it saves the employer 765 plus federal and state taxes. So everybody wins. Kept your plan been around a long time. And y'all got one, I'm just curious if we got one. That's my concern.
My guess is several years ago, or we had a prior agent, they'd come up with a cafeteria plan, and something happened, and they left the county's
That's right.
employee, and my guess is the whole system kind of fell apart.
That's right.
No one's been complaining to the board, so it's really not been on.
Y'all probably have to change in Andy's position to a combination of this. Normally see it fall apart, and this is what you actually said.
No further questions? Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make a motion to add insurance. Criteria plan, just talking about.
We'll get it officially, we'll get Tom to write it, however, Tom did tell us how we need,
Yeah, I think,
That
if I remember
allows us-
right, last time we had a written resolution appointing someone, I'll come up with something. And you give me your contact info for the department, that I'll get it.
you second, Commissioner Gillis.
I said,
Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Haddon.
Thank y'all
Be
very
in
much.
touch with Mr. Everett. Our next order of business before the board is our Workplace Development Board appointment. Ms. Kim Heath is currently holding this position. It's time to reappoint. She has expressed concern that she'd like to continue serving, as well as the board was good with her coming back at that time. I open the floor for a motion for our board appointment to the Workplace Development.
I'll make a motion.
I'm sorry, who's on?
Kim Edge?
She's one of these.
Yeah. Do I have a second? Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Our next order of business for the board, we've reached out, we've talked about it, but I think now's the time to put the rubber where the road is. We've had some confusion with getting information out at times. We all know it's changing times, and a lot of people go to the web for information more than they do the standard periodicals of days past. So we've reached out. I got the girls to do some research, different counties, what they were using, and get us some prices on it. And this is what they come back with. Miss Angie, if you would, you gather this information, please inform the board of your findings.
Okay, so, Josh actually helped me, reach out to these people. The first one that we're looking at is CI and Web Design. They're the ones that created Toombs County's website. The initial setup to get everything going, would be, like to officially have the website fully up and running would be 1630. And then, I'm sorry. 48, right under 5,000, 4890. And then the yearly maintenance on it will be 1630, but they'll do everything for us. We just send in what we want, they'll take care of the website for us. We don't have to do anything. They're out of Brunswick, I believe, or Jessup. They're out of Jessup, and they actually are. They know some of our local people. You know, John Bruce gave me a really good recommendation from them as well. And then Granicus, they gave us a couple of quotes, like a more basic low end, and then a higher quote. They are much more expensive though. Granicus, they're not in Georgia or anything. But I think they would do a good job. Their sites look really good.
Who are they currently working for? You know
They're
of?
like out of some state up north.
I don't know, you know of any of the
Yeah, one of
counties?
the cities, it's in here somewhere. One of our board cities.
Oh.
I can't remember right off which one it was. And I honestly haven't had a chance to really look at this one as much, just because he got it to me like late Friday afternoon. I was actually still at the office after 5 trying to print this all off.
Looks like to me here on the remaining period here, that, if I'm looking at this wrong, this is $4,000 up to 5 years, every year.
Yeah, so yeah, your first year, we're looking at one time you have $16,000 to set it up. And then by year 2, you're paying $5,000, year 3, you're paying $5,250, year 4, $5,512, and it just goes up each year.
The grants. The CI is 1630.
Right.
How long have they been in business?
A long time, I don't know exactly how many years, but they have been doing, and they're actually in the process of redoing, you can pull it up online, and you can look at Toombs County, and they're actually doing a new one for Toombs County as well. And I really think even their older one looks really good to me. It's very user friendly, and he said ours would be even better than that.
So, that being said, this is our first stab at trying to get more user-friendly for our public, as well as more openness towards business of the county.
I will say that this does not include anything for the city. You know, I mean, if y'all wanted to integrate the city, we could. Okay.
Let them stand on their own leg. That one we got with them now is it's not no good. You can't really tell unless you know to click on the 2 medallions. You don't know where to go any further.
I just want something user friendly. Period.
The one that we currently have in the city, do we have to update that?
We tried to, the regional commission was doing that for us. We just don't, honestly, I think he's just so busy, he doesn't have time to update it for us. But I have sent him any updates. So once we vote on this, we're gonna start fresh. We'll take new pictures. Every office will have their own link. You know, you click it, it'll go to a page for them. All of them will. And if the city ever gets one up, and we wanted to add a link to it, we could. We can, he'll add a place for our minutes to go up, everything.
All right, so each individual department in the county will have their own link.
That's right, and that's included in this
All right,
price.
the next thing is, does this actually incorporate the possibility for fine pay?
Yes, sir, it can. It can. If that's the way we want to go, if we wanted to. He said he could even do it if people wanted to go online and pay their taxes, but I guess that would be up to me, I guess. But that, he said we could do that as well.
And who else uses this? Toombs and who else?
Toombs County is the only one I've really looked at, just because they're right where I was.
So we can, this is kind of our first stab at it. We've reached out, we've got these numbers, we know what we're looking at. So at this time, I'd like for the board to entertain a motion to go forth with the web purchase or table it to further down the road. Y'all's decision.
We'll make a motion to purchase.
Do I have a second? Wait, which one you want to purchase?
That would be the CO and web design.
Do I have a second? Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We're on our way down the information highway. All right, next order of business for the board will be courtroom system upgrade. I'm sure that was supposed to be from Judge Gillis that he incorporated in the documentation and his request.
I spoke to him Friday as well. He wasn't able to be here this morning. And he understands that we had a deadline to get, he wanted to use CARES Act money for this. And the thing about the CARES Act is
We'll discuss that further on down, the CARES Act. But basically, this is just, he's got his wish list right there for us to look at.
And he said if we would go ahead and approve it, he could get it. If we get a phase 2, then we could put that towards the CARES Act. Reimbursement.
So you want to talk about CARES Act, and talk about this?
This is really just for your information.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna get back. I mean, this is for us to take a look at and decide if we want to.
But you just with CARES Act.
If we can. I don't think he cares as long as he can get it, but this is for COVID purposes, so we could use it towards that.
I was just saying we got a CARES grant update at the end, and we're probably going to have pretty detail on what we're going to spend those funds.
Part of the record, we need to let everybody know what he's asking for.
This is like, to be able to have Zoom and just electronic, where they can have court and meetings without having to have people physically there, just because of COVID. So there would be like monitor purchases, microphones, probably a computer, things like that.
What's the expense?
He's asking for 20, he said that the system upgraded would be about $25,000. And I think he's requested this in other counties that's in his district as well, I believe.
I think Lawrence County already has, I think they're using for the court system up there.
You guys are going to buy, question is, are you going to buy it today, or are you going to buy it a month from now, or do you? Sooner or later, the judge is just going to issue an order, telling you. Right now, they're asking.
And it's needed.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
From
fine.
experience, it's needed.
Let us go there.
Well, I wanted us to, what I was getting at a while ago, I want us to have a discussion about the CARES before we decide that we're going to pay for this with CARES. We may want to pay for this with something besides CARES. What I was getting at, what I was trying to get at a while ago.
There's also been some.
And I don't know if you can even pay for this with CARES. I'm not sure if
I don't know the answer to that.
But before we make a motion to try to pay for this with CARES, I want to have a discussion about CARES.
I think they're in a big hurry to get it bought because it's holding up the administrative report right now. There's been some talk about the wildlife road fund kicking in whatever they have or advancing the money to get it bought and then someone else will be.
And my understanding is he doesn't care how it's paid, you know, if we can use it for CARES, that's great, but if not, he wants it regardless.
You're going to buy it.
Yeah.
We can also attach this to the minutes to the request, I guess, couldn't we? If we needed to make it so everybody would know that. I said if y'all want to, we can attach this request to the minutes, that way everyone will know what was requested if y'all so want to do that. All right, Next thing before the board will be our Treutlen County Library LED proposal and grant.
So what this is the, I guess the Oconee Regional Library, there's this grant, and if we would be willing, if the county would be willing to pay for it, I believe that the grant, they'll cover half of it, I believe is what it is. Like, if we would be willing to pay half, they'll pay half as well, and this would, I guess, change the lighting in the library, the LED. And Ms. Justine asked that we look at it.
And I do know that in the past, I'm just adding this in there, we had about 3 or 4 years ago, they had problems with the lighting, and then I remember the way it's wired now, it's got like some late 70, early 80 technology where they got the turn dimmers, and they couldn't find any way to interface with those. And at one time they were having to switch the lights on and off out here at the panel box, and I think we ended up getting that fixed, didn't we? But we'd had some lighting issues the whole time at the library. How long do we have to apply for this grant? What are we going to get it?
So if y'all want to maybe just kind of research it, read over a little bit, we can address that in the next. or if we have a workshop or a call.
Is the library, it's not even open now with COVID, is it?
I think she's up here, but I don't think that they're fully open yet, I don't think.
Well, that sign says no right there.
Well, it says they can't look past that location.
They still, give books to people, check out books or whatever, but if you call in and tell them what book you want or whatever, they get it for you.
I advise the board, let's look into this grant and heavily,
And I'll find out if there is a deadline, and if I see that there is one, I'll let y'all know. We might just call a quick call meeting or something if we need to.
so once fine with that, we're just, not taking any action on this time. Till we figure out a little more what's going on. Next order of business for the board will be maintenance department vehicle purchase. And this was about Otis. As y'all know, Otis has a truck that goes around and handles duties throughout the county. For some time now, Otis hasn't had any reverse, so we need to try to get Otis a little more reliable way for him and Kel to conduct the county's business. I guess kind of what we need to do is approve up to a certain amount for a vehicle purchase and decide if we want to. Terry, what did we pay for that last truck at auction? Yeah. Do we want to go down the route of finding a used truck for them to work out of, or we want to just how much money we want to spend on the truck? And it's up to the board. We need to approve an amount for a purchase for a vehicle for Otis. Ma'am?
The truck that TJ drives, the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
He's using it because nobody else was using it. Is that not right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so like a month or so ago, I got a call saying that it was in really bad shape. So why would we purchase it? Would it work around here for Otis when used?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay. So since we need it now, why would we purchase another one when we got one that?
What was wrong with it? Yeah, what was wrong with the one Tommy had?
Tommy
got
got
the one that was blown up, the engine had a problem with it?
No, Tommy got a new truck.
He's talking about one TJ truck.
Didn't want to keep it, right? Didn't that one have an engine problem?
No, we just had a repair done on it. But it wasn't an engine problem, it was a safety recall. Yes, sir.
Otis, a lot of times, it's all gas and stuff like that for weed eaters and more, and that
No, we're not talking about Tahoe, we're talking about pickup.
It's a pickup truck, it's not used to that. And I mean, they said it was in really bad shape, so.
Terry, I got a question for you. The truck that Otis did drive, what kind of shape is the body and motor? I know you said you don't have a reverse. What kind of shape is the body and motor?
I really don't know a lot about that, because they just sort of has its own department. I'm not sure what year model or how many miles, or how old the truck is. I'm really not very familiar with it. I know it's been worked on a lot as far as Jordan up there. They had a lot of issues with it starting and stuff like that.
I was wondering if the vehicle just the first to put a transmission in. That's the reason I was asking.
Yes, I'd say it needs replacing, it's been.
Yeah, I think it's done, Jordan's gonna give it the bill of health that it's passed beyond repair the transmission in it. The truck's not worth what it would cost to get it fixed.
That was my question.
But if y'all don't wanna purchase a vehicle, if you wanna utilize something the county already has, we can make that happen.
I'm sorry, what you said?
I said if the board don't wanna purchase a vehicle, if they see not to purchase a vehicle, utilize a vehicle that's already in the fleet, we can make that happen.
I think we need to use it from, we already got it. I would first, let's see if we get a little bit, if we got it from.
What's all wrong with that vehicle?
What's that?
What's wrong with the vehicle?
Which one?
The one,
Otis driver?
no, we should get stopped out.
Nothing.
No.
TJ's right.
But did we get a call about purchasing a new truck because that one was in such bad shape? That was my understanding,
About 4 or 5 months ago, something like
in June, when we were doing the weather tour.
I'm not sure what kind, I haven't received a call.
that. Yeah, about 4 months.
Those that know which way y'all wanna go. Y'all wanna use the truck we got in the fleet, or y'all wanna purchase a pickup?
Well, now let's see what we need to do with that one, that you use that one, we got to come back.
Alrighty.
So we're letting, he's gonna use the one that TJ's been driving?
Is that the consensus of the board?
Oh, that's what I think, I don't think we need to be driving another vehicle. We got no, he used it because nobody was using it, now we need it, so why would we not use it?
And I think he was partly using it too, because that was whenever he was the president of the tournament courts, and he was driving all over the state. I think he was using it for that reason too, at that time.
You still on top? Is the top still here?
Josh and Todd, EMA director.
So nobody's using that, nobody.
Which
Yeah.
one?
The one who can come back here, those.
TJ drives it.
The Ford truck.
So he still drives it?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, he was just using it because nobody else was using it. So we got a use for it now, a need for it now.
I agree.
Alrighty, that's what we'll do going forward. Problem handled. Now we have, next order of business for the board will be the National Recovery Month proclamation. Commissioner Hollis, this was something that you had requested.
Yeah, this month is National Recovery Month. Sheriff Department, along with them and us, have partnered together to do what they call a safe disposal drop off. And what it is, if you have old prescriptions, you can take it to these two locations at the courthouse and them and drugs in here and let them dispose of it. And that is to try to decrease, or I won't say eliminate, but decrease the opioid epidemic that we're having today. And so I asked Andy to talk with our attorney to see if we can actually do a resolution. A lot of counties are doing resolutions at this time for National Recovery Month. So I asked our attorney to get one of them.
Certainly. If you guys want to pass that resolution, just need a motion in a second.
Open.
This is something that ACCG he always, promotes as well, for the counties to get involved with the opioids.
And I seen where Dennards and the sheriff was working together
They
on
are.
turning in some old prescriptions also. So this time we open the floor for a motion on the National Recovery Month proclamation for Treutlen County. Can I have a second?
I'll say.
Any further discussion? Not, all in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
And when we get it up, the sheriff said it'll be good to come and sign with us, out of town.
Tom, you gonna take care of that
Yes, sir.
to-do list?
Angie and I take care of it.
All right. Next order of business is the Treutlen County State Court Solicitor. This is pretty much just a FYI for everyone to know that Keith has officially resigned, and Mr. Paul Calhoun is now serves as State Court Solicitor for Treutlen County. Anything we need to add to this?
That took effect September 1st, too, just so everyone knows.
But he qualified for a position no one else qualified against.
He called me and asked me, did I get the email, and he had sent it to my old email, and he said he was just letting me know that he had resigned, and that Keith was now the state
Paul.
solicitor. Paul, I'm sorry. Now, whether he did anything that TJ's out, maybe I don't know, but he was gonna go in January anyway, but I'm not sure.
There's nothing for us to take up on.
Nothing for you all to do. The governor will likely just sign an appointment, appointing Paul to fill out the remainder of Keith's term to the state court should run as scheduled.
Next order of business before the board is our transit system that we're running. We've had some problems. Everything's went good. We hired Miss Mary. She's been running transit. She's done an excellent job. I meet her in the roads coming and going. Got a lot of good response about the transit. It's helped a lot of people in the community. I've been proud to work with myself and the board, and especially Vice Chair Hollis, about bringing this back around. It had got the door shut on it, but it's actually a great service for the people in the community, and I do see a great need for it. But at this time, we're having problems, and everyone's having these problems with COVID and whatnot, and we have an exposure. We're putting people at exposure. It's hard to go by the state guidelines for social distancing and stuff while we're keeping this thing. So we got to, as a board, we got to decide, do we want to try to, is there some way that we can figure out to try to keep this thing going, or maybe we just need to set this thing down until some of this passes over, it gets better, or something. I don't know. I'm not saying either way. I just do know that we're kind of, I can see a little liability of us loading up a van with a bunch of people, and there's a reason why the bank's got a letter hung in the window saying if you get COVID in this bank, you get in here on your own risk. So I'm sure there's probably some legalities to it. I don't know. But on the other hand, Miss Mary, she did come to work. She quit a job to come work with us. And if something happens, if we do just try to cease and desist with transit until times change or something gets better, we got to figure out somewhere to put her, whether it be maybe helping deliver senior meals or helping Otis had requested some help with the janitorial duties, if she would help us do that to keep her hours up and keep her employed with the county. So I just want to open the floor for discussion. Each commissioner kind of where we're at and where we're going with our transit.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Put a sign in the bus store, saying that
Yes, ma'am.
okay, so with the windows big down in the van,
Ma'am, the windows what now?
can you make the windows there?
I really don't know.
I'm probably sure you can. It's got no safety exits and stuff on it.
I have a question. Tom, by putting that sign there saying that we're not responsible, is that, what is liability? Lay it out. What is liability on that?
That's a work in progress. Nobody knows. There's a code section saying, if you go to a public place or a place of business, and you've been forewarned, you can't be, the owner or the operator can't be liable for it. They're going to be litigating that for years.
And there's no
I
way.
guess my questions on the transit are, people still want the right to transit with COVID-19?
They don't have a
I think that's
choice.
one of the most dangerous things somebody can do right now, driving a bus.
But then again, they have no choice. That's what it goes down to. So I mean, it's a great service. I feel that it does a great thing for our community. And at some time, they have to weigh the cost. Is it worth it? And I think it is worth it. And I think the risk is their own. And I think the liability would be great. But then again, I don't know.
And a lot of the people, that really have problems and it's really affected by COVID is the people with pre-existing conditions, and that's exactly what we're putting in the ban. I'm fine with keeping it going, but I want to make sure that we're not in the crosshairs facilitating.
Of all the things that are counted.
And maybe we just need to get a waiver sign. Maybe you write up a waiver.
When it comes to liability, running a transit, even during COVID-19, is probably one of the least liable things you guys do. I think, but just the close proximity of people and people going in and out, that's a likely hot spot in the future if you're going to have out there.
Where's Miss Mary at now?
She still hasn't got her results back yet. So
How
she's,
many people do she transport daily?
sometimes there's only one, and most of the time that one is a dialysis patient. She has had a few more doctor's appointments. Last week when the incident happened, there was, I believe she told me 4 besides her. And what I told her she had to do was, she had to be tested and everyone on the band had to be tested, and I had to have their paperwork showing they were negative. I had to see it showing they were, I wasn't taking my word mouth. They had to show me they were negative before they could get back on the band, and I had one that's come in, and Miss Marion called me this morning and said she still doesn't have her results back yet.
Okay.
But see, now I will tell you that Miss Marion, and I personally don't think we need to get into this. She calls me all the time with people wanting to go shopping. They want to go shopping, and I get it for dialysis. That's very important, but I don't think we should start up shopping right now.
No, I don't think she's stuck shopping right now, but we probably need to limit how many she has on there daily.
See, that's something that Josh is really trying. Now, Josh talks to Miss Marion a lot. He kind of almost sets rules. He told her every one of them have to wear a mask. They have to wear a mask at all times. He would actually prefer if they were wearing gloves, but I don't really know that we can do that. And the thing is that even though what she always says is, well, they're facing forward, but sometimes there's a person in every single seat. So it can be an issue, but now to me, dialysis is very important. That we got.
And another obstacle you got is, like Miss Mary's down. Well, who are you going to put in there to keep it going? I mean, because, I know the first thing that's been thrown at me, and Otis is kind of a catch-all, man. Put Otis, if I'm an older person that could be at hazardous risk, I'm going to tell you, no, I'm not climbing in that van. To be sitting there with 20
But no,
different
Miss
people.
Marion wants to drive. It doesn't, she,
And that's her decision, but I'm saying I don't think,
I can tell you that Otis does not want to drive.
and we're not going to be able to just hire somebody.
That's fine. If Otis don't want to drive, but we probably do need to consider a backup at some point. Because even if she's out sick for something else, we still need a backup. But I do think they need to be asking those questions before they get on the van.
Are we scanning for fevers on the?
She has something on there, and she always has, she has hand sanitizer, she has masks.
Okay, because one of those questions are, I think one of them said, have you been tested for COVID or have you been around anybody? And if those questions was asked, we probably have a situation right now.
And she told me, because I did ask her, I said, were you aware that this person had COVID when you were taking him to the doctor? And she said she did not. And those questions, and this, I looked at, this was a dialysis patient as well that was sick.
So I think we limit the number and ask those questions, take those temperatures, I think should be fine.
She definitely needs a guideline to go by and really stick with and go by. provide. And I would, unlike you, I think we need to limit the essential passengers only and limit the number of passengers.
I believe it's six, I think. So I feel like myself, maybe she shouldn't have more than 2 or 3 at a time, I think.
And y'all want to, let's advertise for another driver for backup? See what we get?
I think we need to, but, backup, I don't know who want to accept the position for backup, so maybe we kind of get her schedule to where they may work one day and then give back something, that, I don't know.
I was thinking maybe at least 2. She works 6 days a week, and maybe if we could have somebody that'll come in as, and she could still be considered full-time. She'll still make enough hours, but we can come in twice a week.
So what we're gonna do? Keep rolling, limit the people, limit the trips, try to get someone else to take the load.
And we're gonna advertise. Is that right?
Everybody fine with that? Alrighty. So the next order of business before the board would be the senior center refrigerator. I feel like I think we've already approved this. I think that she couldn't get one. Is that what she was telling me, Commissioner Gillis?
She just found one. The thing is the amount, we never approved an amount. And she said she was gonna send me the paperwork on the amount.
How much you need?
Well, the one she really wants, I think is 5,000 or something, but I think they have another one there.
Wow.
Okay, it's 3,000. But, I don't think they have the one. She said she had an email that she was planning to send me into because she was not paying attention.
Is it commercial?
But it's a commercial.
Oh, yeah, that's cheap, actually. That is cheap.
You want to just get it from her and send it out, and we can, everybody approve purchase over the text. We know we're either looking at 3 or 5.
Now, I'm about to let her, I think about what I want to buy. And, it's not my money.
Let's get the number in front of us and we'll approve the purchase.
And they can have it, it's from card, because the people on the market can't get them. And, they said that they had it this week.
Alright. We'll get that information up, we'll send a group text out, and it's, for public record, it's between 3 and 5, we don't know yet. Next order of business for the board is our courthouse roof update. At this time, we've had we've advertised, we had a pre-qualification meeting for everyone to come. I think they had about 10 to show up. And then, how much longer is it to the actual bid date?
Bids are to be turned in today by 1, I believe.
So we'll have some bidding.
And I believe Shane, I think he's gonna come, and I think he's gonna open them with me. And then, I guess at our next meeting or whenever y'all want to, we can, send them to y'all, to you all, and y'all can choose who you want to use.
Shane, the
Shane, with,
the Illium.
All right, at this time, Ms. Andrews, please give the bouncers and reports on the financial funding of the county. Financial standing of the county.
And I will, this is the balances as of the end of August. This is our August balances. And I'll have we haven't got our bank statements yet, but they'll probably come in today. And I'll try to have that, the August financial report by the end of this week.
See, our general fund standing at $1,834,451. We still have our CDs, and we have the funding in each individual account thereupon afterwards. And if there are no more questions, I'm going to move on to the amended portion of the agenda, which would be Mr. Terry with his need of a boom truck. Did everyone get a copy of this? I got to send you this.
But everything went out, I was able to print one.
All right, I'll pass this around. But as y'all know, one of our problems is our county pick collection sites, and we have yet to decide exactly what we're going to do to try to improve those. But in the meantime, we do know that we have a need for going around and keeping those And y'all do a great job, Mr. Terry. I like to commend y'all on that, but to do any job, you got to have the right tool for the task. And I've seen firsthand what kind of shape that our present boom truck's in when we were hauling off our demolition up here. And this is what these guys use every day to keep these green sites clean. And it's got to the, I think to call it a good backup after we do some repairs on it would be stretching it. So, as we know, this is one of the main things that problems we have as a board, we get addressed with in public. And I reached out, I got to doing some looking online, and I found a used truck, right here's the listing on it. The guy has it listed for $69,000. He told me he had another guy that was interested in it, but he had priced it to him, and I got him down to $63,500, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty much what I had done some negotiating with him last Friday. I don't know if the guy come through or not, but this is something what we're looking at for an expenditure. And this truck here, it's a 07 truck. It's got 90,000 miles on it, but it's $63,000. It's a pretty sound truck. It's got a good body. It's got an upgraded boom. It's got the apprentice boom where you climb up on top. You can see off of it. It's a lot more safer for slinging stuff around and utilizing the boom. I think this truck would get a lot of service out of it. If you go to buy this truck new, you're looking at probably $160,000 to $170,000. But we are currently down, correct, Terry?
Yeah, right now, and I'm not sure when we're gonna get it fixed. That one mechanic I had looking at it turned it down, so now I'm gonna have to find somebody to work on it. They got to separate the whole boom. They got to take it all apart to get to there's a turn motor that actually swings the boom from side to side. And they got to get in there to work on that and pretty much got to disassemble the whole thing to get to it.
But if something happens that's not this truck, I'd like to at least get the board to approve or purchase up to a amount and let Terry kind of find what he needs to keep it going, because y'all know what's happening at these campsites right now. While we sleeping, they piling. So I'd like to open the floor up for a motion to let's purchase and I'm gonna suggest.
Lance, are you wanting a motion to approve the purchase of that particular truck?
I don't know that truck's there.
Or just a budget?
I'm just saying, give us a budget to buy a truck. We'll try to get the most bang. As Terry does a good job, we'll try to get the most bang for the buck for the county as we can. But if y'all would rather single out a truck and come back and approve a purchase price for a said truck, that's fine too. You know how it is when you're dealing and you're looking and I'll say these trucks are in demand too with the storm that just hit the Gulf. Those are utilized in cleanup after you have natural disasters, so it's really kind of hard to put your hands on this truck. And we can make this purchase with our
Should be able to do a spot.
with Splosh, yes. And even in the future, we talked about doing different things with our can sites. And regardless of what we do, we still use those a lot. We clean up throughout the county, and we have to haul off from our recycle yard the scrap metal and the different items that gets brought there. And that's how it's utilized also. So it's really probably one of the most used tools in our resources.
But I'm ready to make a motion that we get whatever, how much that we need to purchase one. I hate doing that at trust.
A new one? A new one?
I'm gonna throw this number out there. I know I can get this for that price point I just told y'all. I think we can stay under 75. If we approve a purchase up to 75, and we'll try to stay we're gonna try to stay under that, but something happens, something falls through and we see something that might be a little nicer or a little less, but I think if we could budget a 75,000 and below, we can get them more something.
I'll second that motion.
I need a motion first.
I thought she did.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Commissioner Gill's already.
Oh, she done made the motion, that's right, that's fine. I'm sorry, go ahead.
She did make the motion. I just second the motion.
Okay, got a second? All in favor? Let him, oh, he got me all flustered here. All right, got a motion, got a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, vote
I
aye.
have a question.
Up.
When are we gonna buy this? We're gonna try to do it today?
We're gonna get the ball. I'm gonna fix it when we hang up. I'm gonna
That's
call
right,
this
it's
up.
bound and under today.
And are we paying it out of the general fund?
No, we're gonna play it out of squash. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I voted aye today. I didn't say aye, but I meant to say yeah, I voted aye. All right, we got,
Just in your packet, or I laid it on your table, the CARES stuff, we've been approved 100%.
oh yeah, I forgot,
I got the email this morning that we got the additional, the 70 was approved, we've already submitted all of our documentation, the backup for the pay and all of that, and everything was approved.
So how long is that around?
We don't have any other money, we don't have any.
so the 130's the total?
No, the plus right under, what was it, around 59, so.
And we can take and put this back to our payroll expenditures.
Well, how it works is, I mean, the money's already in the account, they direct, it's already in there,
Where'd it go, general fund?
general fund. And, I don't really know how to explain it. I'll tell you, we had some of our department heads ask me, they wanted to know if, for instance, Tommy, to give you an example, was wanting to use it for, the sheriff's department, his deputies that, have been out, where COVID was or whatever, and, he actually had a couple of deputies that had COVID. And could that be credited to his payroll budget? And the auditor said it cannot. That budget's already been approved, it's already set, he has to use that the way it is. So this just goes into the general fund. And the way they said the best thing to handle it is like if we have a department that needs something to do with COVID, charge it to the general fund because the money's going into the general fund and then we'll just pay for it out of the general fund. And we have had the sheriff, the jail have asked for I'll get that together, we can vote on it next time we're looking for another quote. But it's like, I think it sets up in the jail and our employees don't have to be there where they have to touch or be right there at one of the inmates. They can just kind of stand so many feet behind it. It'll take their temperature, it'll do all of that for them. And they're wanting a couple of those. And they'll be under $5,000 for two of them, they want to. But I'll get that together and have that for y'all later.
When do we have to finish that around?
We don't have it yet. I'm not sure when we'll get it.
So,
I don't even know 100% that we're going to do a second round. We hope so. But
and if they do a second round, I think all of us should get together and come up, if we have something we need to spend it on, make a list, and then the department heads make a list, and then we decide as a board. Instead of doing it separately.
I think we should just let them come in and see what we got, let us sit there and pool, and then we'll have a workshop.
But we already have a lot of things, like we got a second round that we can put towards it. And this is the thing, if there's something new that we want, for instance, like what Judge Gillis was asking for, it has to be purchased and installed before you can apply it to the, what we, it has to be there before they'll approve it. We can't say we're gonna get this and then them approve it for us before.
I agree with Commissioner Hood, that this will workshop, so we can be on the same page.
And I can tell you that everything that we sent for these, for this was, all of it was to do with, emergency personnel payroll.
All right, unless we have any further discussion about the CARES Act, it's time for that almost always important motion. Motion for adjournment.
Well, before we adjourn, we're gonna do about the equipment Judge Gillis has for, how we gonna pay for it.
We were going,
General fund.
y'all want to go ahead and pay for that general fund?
Okay.
That's
It's
fine.
gonna
We need to
happen.
go ahead and make a motion, how we gonna do
We
it.
probably don't get reimbursed through the CARES Act.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Well, we gotta go ahead and spend it and get it done. Over the floor for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Motion for adjournment.
I'll definitely make that motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Appreciate everyone for coming today.
And next time, let's not.
A lot of business done. Thank y'all. Yeah, we're gonna get the air pump.
Yeah, I mean,
This looks
you
cool.
need to get your money back there.
I don't know how you'd stop this.
You give me one of your cards, sir?